I think all of you know I'm not a fan of government shutdowns. I've seen a few of them over the years. They never have produced a policy change, and they've always been a loser for Republicans politically.
There was Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell yesterday warning Republicans never come out on top when the government shuts down. The House failed to advance a GOP-backed defense spending bill yesterday after 5 Republicans voted with the Democrats to oppose a procedural vote. Joining me right now is Iowa Senator Joni Ernst. She's the ranking member of the Senate Small Business Committee. Senator, great to see you. Thanks very much for being here this morning.
Great to see you, Maria. Thank you.
What is the fate in the Senate? Let's say the House, hypothetically speaking, does miraculously get their work done, and they can pass a continuing resolution this week. What happens when it gets to the Senate?
Well, we are hoping that we can continue to fund the government. What we don't want to see at the end of September is a government shutdown because it benefits no one. So we will have to consider whatever legislation is passed over by the House. We will do that very carefully. But again, Maria, the object is not to shut down the government because it costs our taxpayers more to do that than if we continually fund.
Well, look, we were just talking with a major investor, Jay Hatfield. He said markets go up when the government shuts down. So what? People still get paid. And a lot of your colleagues in the House and some of them in the Senate, a few, do not want to continue Nancy Pelosi's spending.
Right, exactly. They don't want to continue Nancy Pelosi's spending. So again, we have to scrutinize whatever is being sent over by the House, whatever we're working on in the Senate, to make sure that the taxpayers are the winner. But if we do go into a government shutdown, you're right, those government employees, they get to go home, they get a timeout. But you know what? The work is still there, so we still have to pay them. They're going to get back pay. They come back, they've got a backlog of work, and again, it costs us more than to get that work done than if we just go ahead and continually fund. We need to keep driving on these appropriations bills, though. There is absolutely no excuse that we don't get those done by the end of the year.
Yeah, I know you've got a path forward a bit in the Senate, but I want to get your take on the UN General Assembly, because the president of Iran spoke at the UNGA yesterday, going after the United States. Watch this.
To endeavor to universalize American ideals throughout the world have proven to be failures. The Iranian nation takes pride in having instrumentally unmasked the true nature of the rulers in both the East and West through its Islamic revolution.
Is this not the leader of the biggest state sponsor of terrorism, and Joe Biden and company just opened up $6 billion for Iran, and now we're hearing from him at the UN? How are they going to spend that money, Senator?
Yeah, Maria, this is the butcher of Tehran, and he is here on a visa that was issued by President Joe Biden. I am very upset about this. We have welcomed this man onto American soil, and yet Iran has open assassination plots against former administration officials. And we allow this to happen here at the United Nations. This man never, ever should have been allowed to come into the United States. They are the #1 state sponsor of terrorism. They go after Americans. They will take that $6 billion, and it will not be used on humanitarian assistance. It will be allowed to fund terrorist proxies all around the world, targeting our friends and allies like Israel. Again, this never should have been allowed to happen, and President Biden should be ashamed of appeasing our greatest adversaries. Right there, Iran.
Well, I mean, Iran, you've got China appeasement as well. Why? What is his answer to this? You're an elected official. Have you brought this up to him?
Oh, absolutely, Maria. I bring this up all the time. And through my work on the Armed Services Committee as well, we see that President Biden is more focused on appeasing these adversaries and talking about climate change as our #1 threat to the nation than actually building the lethality of our American fighting forces. He is an embarrassment, and that's why this upcoming election is so very important to us. We need to make sure that we maintain our standing in the world, and that is pushing back against our adversaries.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but it feels like our standing in the world has plummeted, Senator. I mean,
Under this president, absolutely. I agree, Maria.
And you've got foreign policy that is obviously a failure and an inability to push back on adversaries. But then you've got economic policy as well. And the impact of this reckless spending, $6 trillion in 2.5 years. You recently released a regulatory reform package. You're aiming to cut red tape, hold the federal bureaucracy accountable, and what you say is drain the swamp. How are you going to do that? We've been hearing this term now for several years, and yet we still see the regulatory environment actually getting tougher. Gary Gensler just had a closed-door meeting a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and he's trying to push through all these new rules from the Securities and Exchange Commission that are costing businesses much more money. How much is the small business community getting affected?
Oh, gosh, Maria, they are just being overwhelmed by overregulation coming from the federal bureaucracy. And that's why this package that I've proposed is so important. We need to move our federal agencies out of Washington, D.C. and into areas where they are accountable to the constituencies that they serve. We also need to overrule Chevron. We need to make sure that the federal bureaucrats are not the ones that are writing these overreaching regulations, and that they're put in check by members of Congress. And then, of course, we need to make sure that if we do have federal workers that are doing remote work, they are actually working. If they're not working, then we need to get rid of them. So we have a long ways to go to hold the federal government accountable, but we're working on it. This is the package I proposed, and hopefully we can take this up because our businesses are the ones that are bearing the burden.
Yeah. Here's Todd Pyro.
Senator, great to talk to you as always. In a dream scenario for Republicans, they would obviously take the Senate, the House, and the White House. But even if that happened, would a package like this end up passing? Or is the deep state, the swamp in D.C., just ultimately too powerful to overcome with special interests that would chip away at Republican support?
Well, I tell you, it is very swampy around here, but I am so excited because we have so many new members that are coming into the House and the Senate that are energized and ready to take on these challenges. These are packages and individual bills that I have been pushing for years now. We just need the support to get it over the finish line. I am hopeful that we can do that. We've got a very important election coming up in 2024. The American people will be speaking, and I hope they are speaking in favor of reining in the federal government.
Yeah. By the way, Senator, before you go, a lot of conversation about this new casual wear in the Senate. Is that because of John Fetterman and he wants to wear the hoodies and all that?
Well, I can't tell you what Chuck Schumer was thinking and why he did it, but certainly I'm not going to roll out of the gym in the morning and head straight to the Senate floor. I do think that we need to have a proper attire when we go onto the United States Senate floor. It's very important that we are representing our district and doing that with respect and dignity.
Well, thank you for saying that. Senator, I just got to get your take on term limits because we're seeing people like your colleague Dianne Feinstein have challenges. Mitch McConnell has some challenges recently. Would you vote for term limits?
Well, I am in favor of term limits, Maria, and I've said that many times. But if we are term limiting elected officials, I think it's incredibly important that we are also term limiting the bureaucrats that occupy these agencies in Washington, D.C., because we are accountable to our constituents. We can be voted out of office. They can't. So if you're going to rein us in, we also need to rein in the bureaucracies. I think that would be incredibly important.
I like that. That's a very good point, Senator. I'm glad you made it. Good to see you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.